All right, so there's a clip that is going around the internet right now talking about 35-year-old failed rappers, and it has caused quite an uproar. Let's go ahead and check it out.
If you're 35 and you're seeing this message as a man, you're a 35-year-old rapper, it didn't work, give it up. You're a 35-year-old rapper, give it up. You don't have any money. You're not on your way to having a hit record. There isn't even a lot of money in rapping unless you're going to blow big and have money to invest in yourself, and you're going to have to go independent. You're probably having your girl pay for your studio time. Give it up. You a 35-year-old street dude. You ain't got a brick yet. Chances are you never will. Let it go. It's okay. Go get a job. Go get a job. Be useful. Get some health insurance. Maybe you can take your kids, get some dental insurance, get your baby's teeth fixed and things of that nature. 35, 40, you want to be a podcaster. You don't have a following. You don't even talk well. You can't articulate well. You're not even great at conversation. Let it go. Let it go. You want to do every hustle, but the one that'll actually give you some results. Go get a job. It's over for you, bro. It's over for you. But at least if you go get a job, right? Maybe you can stack a couple of paychecks and then give yourself a little bit of cushion. You ain't got no cushion, so you're moving out of desperation. You're doing anything and everything to avoid going to get a job, and a job might be the thing to save your life. Everybody not meant to be famous. Everybody not meant to be rich, bro. They defeated you. Go ahead and clock in.
All right, so a lot of people were very triggered by that video, and I can understand, but what we have to do is we have to comprehend what he is saying. And there's a lot of people that did reaction videos to this, and I've seen some good ones and I've seen some horrible takes on this. And I'm just coming from a place of me being in this situation, recording older people. I have recorded thousands of people over my life, okay? And I have recorded a lot of people over the age of 30. I've recorded a lot of people over the age of 35. I've recorded a lot of people over the age of 50. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. There are some success stories of people that have gotten record deals over the age of 35. One of them is 2 Chainz. A lot of people bring up 2 Chainz, but some people fail to realize that 2 Chainz was signed before he was 35. He was signed to DTP. He was signed to Ludacris, and he was in the group, and they had a hit record with Lil Wayne. And they had a following, and through that, he developed a following. He was doing several mixtapes and everything after that, okay? And that helped him to get to that point. So let's get this understood that 2 Chainz was signed before he was 35, and it helped him. Is it like a huge help? I don't know, but I know that people knew Titty Boy and that he was on the mixtape scene. Now, he put in a tremendous amount of work during that time. Like, he put in a tremendous amount of work. You cannot take that away from him. He did a tremendous amount of work, especially when he was doing a lot of stuff with Charlotte, with Street Execs, stuff like that. It was a lot of work that was being poured into those mixtapes, okay? He had a crazy work ethic, and he developed himself into what we know now as 2 Chainz, okay? Great rapper, one of my favorite rappers too, man. I just love the way he raps and everything. But, you know, at the end of the day, he was signed before he got the big deal, okay? Now, there are some other cases where people have gotten deals at the age of 30, 31, 32, 33. Yes, people have gotten deals. One of my good friends, Rated R in Tampa, Florida, he had a hit record back in the early 2000s. He got his deal at 31 years old. And this was in the early 2000s when that was like unheard of to get a deal that late. There's a lot of people that got deals later on in life, but most people, you know, they got their deals either when they was in their teens or in their 20s, early 20s to be exact. And this is where, you know, people were actually doing real A&R work, and they were signing people off of mere talent, or if you had some kind of buzz and they can kind of work with it. It wasn't about numbers. It wasn't about if it was already there. people were getting their deals. Now, to say that there's a whole bunch of people that's getting signed after the age of 35 is, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, that's a lie. Like I said before, there is some exceptions, but those exceptions are very, very small. You have more of a chance of getting struck by lightning twice before you sign a deal and get rich and famous after the age of 35. I'm just keeping it honest with you guys. And I'm just trying to see if you guys are going to sit here and comprehend what I'm saying. What I'm not saying is to stop doing what you love to do. I'm not saying that, because there is a possibility to do what you love to do. There's always a chance. If there's a chance, even if it's a 0.00000000001 chance, that means there is a possibility. Like right now, I can make a whole rap album right now and it might go viral and I can get a deal too at my old age. But I understand at my age, and I knew even when I was recording people in my 20s and my 30s and in my 40s, I knew once you got to a certain age, it was very hard. Now, some people will bring up the debate, well, what about country music? Man, there's a lot of country stars who are big. A lot of those country stars were big before the age of 35. I'm just keeping it real. Now, do they have a longer shelf life? Yes, because country music, you can start at 15 and then you can still be putting out albums at 75. It's just, that's how it's set up. That's how it is. Rap music is a little bit different. There's a lot of ageism going on, but I think now with a lot of the more tenured rappers putting out albums and putting out really good albums, I got the feeling that the shelf life is going to be longer because of what I was saying for years now, that we need to have our own category called adult contemporary rap, which is basically older music. It's kind of like that Jay-Z vibe now, that Rick Ross vibe now, the Nas vibe now. It's called adult contemporary rap. And I think we need to have a category calling it adult contemporary rap. And in that way, you know, individuals like me know, oh, okay, so I know what I'm finna listen to. I'm finna listen to some really good hip hop, some classic stuff that I like. Cool. And it doesn't matter what region. Like, it could be even Master P. He can come out right now and still sound like 1997, but they can list it as adult contemporary rap. And it will be a thing for me to say, okay, let me go ahead and listen to this adult contemporary rap station. But now they call it the oldie station right now. They call it the oldie station, which a lot of places right now, a lot of cities have the oldies R&B and hip hop stations right now. You can go and listen to some of your classic songs, you know, that's at least, 10, 15 years old right now. And they'll kind of shuffle those in, but they'll play like the ones that's like 20, 30 years old. But this is to everybody who is, bringing up all these different examples and saying, well, in hip hop, we're the only place that does ageism and stuff like that. It's a lot of other genres that do the exact same thing. A lot of the same people who signed hip hop acts signed everything else. They signed the boy bands. They signed certain country artists. They signed certain R&B artists. They've done that. And they've all used the same metrics. That's why in the late 90s, the boy bands were full of a whole bunch of kids. They weren't assembling 33-year-old, and I'm just going to be honest with you, they were not assembling 33-year-old white kids or 35-year-old white guys to do these boy bands. They were getting teenagers. They were getting these kids and assembling these groups at a very young age, developing these groups, and then they would bring those groups out at an age to where they knew they would capture a younger audience, because as we know, there is two selective groups of people that drive music. Number one, kids buy music. Let me repeat this. Kids buy music, stream music constantly, over and over and over again. Women drive the sales of music. If women like your music is going to be played. Men support the music when women like it. If women like a particular song, they're going to play it in the clubs and everywhere else. If kids like the song, they're going to stream it and play it over and over again and buy it and support it. That's where you get the fan bases and all that stuff from. Men support it when kids and women like a particular song. This is something that they've been talking about for years in the record industry, okay? Women and kids drive records, period. Men support when women and kids drive records. That's how it always works. And you can talk to a lot of people, but that's who they target, okay? So at the end of the day, if you're somebody who is 35 years old and you're trying to support your whole life off being a rapper and you're not successful yet, I understand where some of you guys are coming from, because y'all like, well, I'm trusting my rap career to get me to where I need to be. I'm just going to be honest with you. I want y'all to listen to me. I'm not saying stop doing what you're doing. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying stop. But just understand that if a record company had a choice to pick you and an 18-year-old that has the same exact metrics, your song are doing the same numbers, a lot of people are liking it, they're going to choose the younger talent. I'm just keeping it real. You got to understand, I used to try to rap before as well. You know, I thought I was pretty decent, but I understood that at the age of 25, 26, you know, it's just like that. You know, that's just what it is. That's how it is, okay? But what you got to understand is that you are up against younger kids who are doing the exact same thing. And a lot of these execs know that the younger kids are going to attach themselves to younger audiences. Now, the game did change when it comes to streaming, because that 35-year-old still might get a deal. That 35-year-old still might get a deal, but the deal is not going to be the same as the deal with the younger kid. They're not going to get as much money, not as much push. It's because they know that the audience that's going to appeal to that 35-year-old is not going to be the same as like when they appeal to somebody that's younger. That's just the reality of things. But I'm not saying that you should not quit. And I understand what he was saying in the video is basically, and a lot of people just looked over this. That's why I know that people are not comprehending what he's actually saying. Now, he said it in a way that's triggered a lot of people, but that's the thing about it. A lot of people do not like to hear the truth in that way. A lot of people like to skirt around the truth and try to say certain things, and I'm not going to skirt around it either, and I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me as well for saying what I'm about to say. But you got to understand what he was saying in that video. He was saying that if you don't have any other source of income to support your journey, that's the issue. If you don't have any other source of income to support your journey, that is the issue. That's the issue. Now, if you're 33, 34, 35, and you have some type of money or something to support your journey, cool. But if you're just solely relying on rap, you don't have no job, you don't have no money coming in, you don't have anybody helping you, and like he was saying, you got your baby moms or whoever, your girlfriend supporting your career, she's spending her money and you 35 years old, that's an issue. That is an issue. And you didn't have any head start. You didn't have any type of big music career before that. You wasn't signed, so people didn't really know who you are. You're just basically out here with no money and you're trying to rap. Who's going to pay for the studio time? Who's going to pay for the promotions? Who's going to pay for all the stuff that you need to get done? How are you going to travel? Like, what are you going to do? So that's who he was basically talking to, the people who don't have anything to support their rap journey or their rap career. That's who he's talking about. How are you going to have money to even pay your cell phone bill to even upload stuff online? Like, It's you got to think about it in that way. So I understood, I comprehended what he was saying. And I know a lot of people are like, man, don't quit. Don't listen to this guy. This guy is saying some crazy stuff right now. You shouldn't quit, because I've seen people get their deals and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of y'all had homeboys who supported y'all, or had somebody who supported you. And a lot of you had jobs, or you had money to support yourself. And what he's saying is, if you don't have any type of funds, any type of money, or any type of support other than your baby mother or whoever, you got to say whoever these days, whoever, if you don't have any support, you need to go ahead and get a job. You need some type of support. I know plenty of guys who are 40 years old that still come into my studio that are really good friends of mine, and I'll still record them. I won't record really too many new people, but still come into my studio and they still record because that's their dream, is to, make a hit record or whatever. But guess what? They have a job to support them. Their bills are paid. They're taking care of their kids. If they do have kids, they have cars to get them to the studio. They have support, and their support is their job. And what this guy is saying is, if you do not have a support system, get a job. Find a way to make some money and use that money to support your mission to becoming a signed artist or to become a big artist. That's what he was saying. He wasn't saying for everybody to give it up. He was specifically talking to the people that have no support and have this dream in their head that as long as I just rap, it's just going to happen, because I may be living in LA or Atlanta or New York, and I'm just going to make my rap song. And as soon as I make the rap song, the rap gods are just going to crown me as the new thing, and I'm going to get my deal. That's not how this thing happens. Usually with everybody, even with the one-hit wonders, they've all been grinding for a very long time before they got that one hit, and they needed support. Everybody who I've talked to that's had one-hit wonders, if you listen to their stories, a lot of them worked a lot of jobs. A lot of them slept in their cars. A lot of them did a lot of things to get the money. A lot of these females, they had to do and go through a lot of things to get to where they're at. And a lot of times they've had support. But if you're a male and you don't have any type of money or support, and you're relying on little tidbits here and there from friends or whatever like that, you don't have anywhere to stay, you don't have any money coming in, you don't have anything, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. It's going to be very hard to accomplish that goal. Very hard. And I understand what he's saying. Now, there's another bunch of people that are very upset, and I'm going to go ahead and end it from this point. There's a lot of people who are upset about this video. It's because they think that this video is going to trigger a whole bunch of people to quit, and that is the promotional people, as I call them, the people that say, hey, use my service, and we can help you get on, and we're going to charge you for this service, and then we can, help you get your song big and hot in the streets and stuff like that. A lot of people that are in this service industry are people who prey on people who have this type of mentality. Older people who I think, oh my God, I need to go ahead and use this service. And even though my song sucks, I'm going to go ahead and use this service. They're going to blow my song up. And these people milk a lot of artists out of a lot of money. And I've seen people make videos and stuff like that talking about, you shouldn't stop quitting. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And a lot of those people are in the service part about it because they don't want this message to get to a lot of people, because if it does, then a lot of people say, you know what? I am 35 years old. I really ain't got nothing going on. I might need to stop, paying this other person to do this service for me. I might need to use the money for something else. So a lot of people jumped on that like, hey, oh man, I can't let this guy stop my money from coming in. So there's a lot of people that are in this service industry that don't want this message to come out, and they're jumping online quickly saying, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. When at the end of the day, we all know that with a lot of these service companies, they're not doing much at all. A lot of these service companies who, oh, if you use my service, we're going to put you in the clubs. We're going to do this. We're going to get your song played in the clubs and this, that, whatever, which is not true, because really, to be honest with you, to get your song played in the club, you pretty much have to go through the club owner, because really a lot of these club owners determine the type of songs that are being played in the club. And I've seen club owners go to particular DJs and tell them, don't play that, only play this. They have a certain playlist that they can play now. A lot of DJs do not have free reign anymore, and a lot of them are not getting paid as much as they used to anymore at all. So I'm just, I just want to put that out there for you. But there's no more street teams no more. Everything is being done online. And the only way you can get a song hot right now is if it catches on. A lot of times it catches on with kids, or if it's something that may go viral for a second, may last for a little second, but it doesn't last very long. So yeah, the service guys are like really like, oh, don't listen to this guy, because yeah, you're going to be taking money out of people's pockets if people decide at the age of 37 years old to hang it up and just, you know what, I need to go out and get me a job and get my priorities straight. You got to have your priorities straight in this thing. And I don't care if you're 25 or 35, if your priorities ain't right in this thing, you're not going to have any type of success. Okay. And you have to have some type of support for your life. If you're 35 years old and you don't have a place to stay, you don't have a car, you don't have any money to support your career, then you might need to reconsider. But if you do have a job, you have a place to stay, you have some money to support your career and to support your goal, most definitely do it. Most definitely do it. But all this other stuff, where people are getting upset, that's just people not comprehending. So just comprehend the message and try to understand what he's saying before, jumping online and saying, oh, this is wrong what he's saying. But yeah, if you're 35 years old right now and you don't have nothing going for yourself, go get you a job first and then hop in the booth.